Hi guys, and welcome to another pedal preservation. And yes, we are finally doing the Stump jumper, my first full suspension my first full suspension mountain bike to appear on the channel. And yeah, it's probably not in the best condition, but it is 2005, so 20 years old this year. And this is a local bike. It was donated by a local rider. And this rode at my local trails at Glen Tress, so it'll be great to maybe get this thing all done, and maybe we'll take it up to Glen Tress and actually, what is it like, say, riding a bike, because I've got a full suspension Giant, which is a 2024 bike, so we can compare it to see what it's like when bikes were like 20 years old. So, a quick check through the bike. It does seem okay. There is some play in this rear mount, which I've got the spacer for. The chap gave it to me. Apart from that, it doesn't look too bad. I think possibly the drivetrain may be a bit worn out, because I noticed it's got some damage to the teeth, etc. But we're going to literally get into it. There's some things we're going to have to address as this, but I'm also noticing things like the front caliper on the front forks doesn't seem to be attached properly. I'll probably whip the fork apart as well, just, you know, not go for, because it looks like the seals are all fairly good, but we'll maybe just go for like a wee oil change or just re-lube the seals, etc., and see what it's like. But oh yeah, and before we get started, if you could help me tickle the algorithms and just do a like, a subscribe, a comment down in the comments of literally anything. Doesn't even have to be to do with mountain bikes. I will do my best to answer it. Let's get going. Let's check the chain first using my AliExpress chain checker. This has actually been really good. Ooh, well, that is a surprise. The chain is literally at 25% wear, so that's good. So we'll just whip that software, or we quit link, so we can actually clean this chain and reuse it. So that's awesome, because to be honest with you, chains are not cheap, even one that's not an awful lot. I mean, what are we talking here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 speed. Even a 9-speed chain is not cheap. We had one on the last one. I think that cost me about a tenner. So we want to try and keep the costing down, make this bike nice and affordable. So the less money we spend on it, the cheaper I can sell it. So win-win. Oh, actually we'll need to, yeah, I'm going to be putting all new cables on it anyway. To be honest with you, that actually looks so, no, let's not be dicking about here. The cost of a cable, we are not going to not do it. Get the derailleur off, we can get all the small bits into the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm going to take this horrible thing off. I absolutely hate these things. These and the big platypus rear mud guards. I absolutely hate them. That was clever. Actually, no, they don't have those things I was talking about. And just pull all these off. I think I'm going to have to, yeah, I think we're going to do a full one. Cables and housings, I think. Yeah, they actually don't look too worn, but whatever they've been oiled with has become very sticky, so might be an idea. There's no point in putting new housings on. Alright, so we've got these little covers on this side, but we haven't got one on the other side. There's like little plastic screws. And she blows. But what I'm going to do is, for organisational reasons, I now use this. See, bike parts, and everything from the build, the small stuff, all goes in here, and you can just literally put it in order, and that way you it's kind of an indication of how it all comes out. Ooh, that is nasty. Yeah, there's obviously a thread off in there. Never mind, so it's off. course, we've got hydraulic brakes, so we're not touching those. Well, when I say not touching them, we've got no outers to pull out. But what I'll do is we'll maybe, yes, it's got all these bushes. I don't know if you can see that under there. They just help keep the hoses in place. So we've got to just back them out. They're like little, see, just like little collars. Again, they can go in the box. In fact, no. Oh, I keep forgetting to do it, to take it off from the actual mount rather than. Do you know what? I've done it now, so I may as well, because I took it off last time because we actually stripped the bike down and we repainted it, but we're not doing that this time. So actually we can leave the mount on because we can properly clean the bike. In fact, to be honest, I'm now starting to wonder actually why I'm taking these off, but you know what, we're going to give these all a really good clean. Unfortunately, I can't, I don't want to disconnect the system, because then we'd have to bleed it. Yeah, we'd be putting new brake pads. I mean, there's still plenty meat left in there. I don't know if you can see that, but I think probably best, yeah, we put some fresh pads in. Whoever gets this bike, I kind of want it where they can hit the ground running. That's interesting. But I have to take the shock out. I'm going to have to take the shock out. I mean, we'll have to take it anyway because of this, the plea here. But also that is routed in through there, which I don't know whether that's deliberate or not. But we're going to have to do that. In fact, because I kind of want to take the shock off and give it like a wee service anyway. Oh, Jesus. All right. Oh. There we go. Just needed a little fondle. Put that together. It's in there tight. There we go. This is what I'm worried about. This is the new sleeve, but the wear's not in the sleeve, it's in this. There's a wee bit of play in there, so I'm going to now have to source one of these. Right, so these are ISIS cranks, so because the tolerance is so close, always make sure that your tool, you just want to get it in there so you know it's going beyond the lips and actually hitting the end of the crank, because if it doesn't and it pushes against the end of the crank, it's going to make a right mess of your cranks. So put all that the way back like that, and then put this in all the way, got plenty of purchase. And then, and now we need an Allen key. See if that's the right one. It is. Right. Personally, I'd probably prefer a spanner on this, but I doubt we're going to need it. Well, we're not going to need it. Nah, I can feel it's actually coming off. I think this bike has actually had a relative amount of maintenance in its life. Just kind of feel there's things just not seized together. Yeah, there we go. That's all come off relatively clean. I might see what the... Actually, that feels great. I think the bottom bracket's going to be fine. What I might do is just take it out and clean it anyway. Sorry about that, I forgot to press record. So what I've done is I've already gotten one of the... I've got the grips are off, and I've got one brake lever off, because we're going to get all these off so that I'm kind of in the mind to change the bars to just something a wee bit bigger, is what I'm thinking. And it'll give me the option to do that. Well, the option, I think that's most likely I'm going to at least... I've got these bars here, which are slightly bigger, because these are, what did I say they were, about 750, they're 760, which I still think is quite small unless you're a small rider. So I think I may still be swapping them out anyway, even just that, whatever, few centimetres, just to kind of modernise it up. I mean, bars have gotten so wide now in mountain biking. I think my latest mountain bike came with 800s. I have cut them down a wee bit, you know. Right, I'm going to quickly whip this this brake mount off as well, because again these will be coming off. I'll be getting these off, and we'll get these apart. And although I'm not looking at the stanchions and stuff, I'm not expecting to be any issues there at all. But if they are, I'll need to figure out whether they're oil filled or not. I kind of would have thought they'd be oil filled, but we'll be able to see. And we'll just check as well whether the calipers are all working properly, but I've got a feeling with the maintenance this bike has had, I think we'll be okay. All right, let's get these out. Right, we're starting to get into the nitty gritty now. Yeah, this has clearly had some mods, unless I don't know. Is that Cane Creek? I don't know if that would have been an original product on this bike. I wouldn't have thought so. There we go. Again, put that in the bags. Get ready for this all to drop on the floor. Spacers. Oh, of course. Just get this. Go. Alright, okay, that's interesting. I wonder if this has been converted at some point. I wouldn't have thought that that would have closed races in it. And do you know what? That feels like brand new. This bike has actually had, I think... there's a bit of corrosion around there, so... But it's definitely not... See, although that bearing looks quite rusty on the outside, smooth as you like on inside, so I will be reusing those. Keeps the costing down. You know, I'm thinking that if there's one bike that would just really do well in a one by conversion, would be this. But the problem is I mean, you gotta have the gearing right to be able to get up the hills, and I just don't know if I want to go at the expense of putting like a proper, like, whatever it would be, maybe 1x10 possibly, conversion on this. I don't know, guys, what do you think? I think it would just not, I don't think I would get a return on it, because I've been having a look at these bikes, like used, and put this in the, anyway, even if I don't use it, I'll put it in ultrasonic. Now, all the linkages and stuff feel absolutely fine, although there was a bit of wear in that shock. There's absolutely nothing in that. So I'm just not going to get into it. If I really don't have to, I'm not going to get into it. This all feels fine, because I think that could be a bit of a can of worms for me. I really don't want to get into. That didn't take long to get down to the bare bones. Let's give it a wee clean down and see where we're at. As I've got my brush attachment on anyway, why not? I'll go slow that down a bit. That was a wee bit too quick. Right, we'll start off with the 2-rag system. First rag, all oily and well used. Ooh. Sure, this frame will probably benefit from like a bit of a machine polish, which we can do. I think this frame's going to come up because there's not enough awful lot of like damage on it, like chip paint, etc., like the last one we had, which obviously had all sorts of corrosion issues, which is why we ended up having to repaint it. We'll just leave it like that just now. I'll go out and do it and give the frame a nice polish and all that once we start putting it back together. But I want to figure out, I'll be honest with you, I was going to take the bottom bracket out, but there's absolutely no point at all. It is smooth as. Right, so that's the frame done. What we can do next, we can have a look at the wheels. Right, so rear wheel first. Mavic wheel, wow, Panaracer tyres, awesome. Right, let's get the quick release out, see what we're dealing with. Doesn't look too bad. See, my thinking is on the 1x. I mean, it's a 9-speed, but that's just not big enough. Maybe with the right, yeah, even with the right, oh, I don't know. I mean, even the cheapest 1x system you can get, even off AliExpress, is about £60. And I just think, I'm going to get that £60 back, to be honest with you. What size of tyres? These by, what, 2.1. I don't know what to do. Tyres do look a bit bald, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a new set of tyres on, some nice specialised ones. Because you can get those just now for about £12 each. And I think that it's just going to give it a bit more chunk. If we go for the, I think the 2.3s, you know, plus as well. Although these are actually quite nice tyres looking at them, but I think they're maybe from a different era. So you get these bloody things. These are going to be, I knew it, tight as. That's the other one. There's probably more air out actually. Might be part of the problem. So unless you all air out, you've got to get the bead to sit in the middle of the. Yeah, it's just not much meat on it. So, ooh, that's been there a while. That inner tube is literally glued into the tyre. What is, yeah, see, it's Mavic wheels, XT hubs. Spec is good. I think doing it up here so you can see is just going to be all the wrong angle. Unless this comes up. Oh, oh, no, yeah, no, did that just fall out? Or, oh no, it's slacked off. Oh, there you go. Oh, there she blows. Right, cassette off, but actually again, cassette doesn't look too bad at all. So what I'm going to do is just run a cable tie through it. What we do is put the cable tie through backwards so we can reuse it, but it's tight enough to hold it together, and then we just put that straight in the ultrasonic. Tiny bit of notchiness, tiny bit of notchiness. So I think we'll get the rubbers off. and just get that a wee inspection. It doesn't feel bad, it just feels a bit dry. In fact, I think you remember telling me, I think the front wheel possibly is, oh no, actually that's, he told me one of the hubs slackened off while he was riding and ended up burning all the bearings out. It might actually be this one. No, maybe it's not this one then, because that actually looks good in there. Yeah, just looking at the back there, that all looks, it looks good in there. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to repack. I think I'm almost out of grease, unfortunately. Come on, just a little bit more. Put this back in. I think I've got a little bit of a mix of two different greases in there. Some of the stuff that was in the grease gun, and then some of the other stuff. Yeah, I'll need to, because I'm forgetting that'll probably be recessed inside the freewheel hub. So is that all slack as well? Is this side tight at least? See, I've got more grease, but unfortunately, it doesn't fit my grease gun. Alright, just went a little bit crazy. That has literally gone everywhere. Because I need to get that tightened onto that. But I need to make sure I've left enough of that. That all makes sense. Nobody said it was gonna be easy. Yeah, see that's, oh, I won't take a spanner, I need another cone spanner. There, that's there. I think we're gonna have to go forth with this. Right, I mean that looks right. Oh. The amount of, as I say, it's about 5mm on that side. So now what I need to do is screw it all back together. Sorry, not the back, I think it was the front he was referring to. So I think actually the front hub's going to be wrecked, which will be a real old shame because hub, you know, and that would be a shame if they are roached. Right, let's get the fork into this. So we are reusing the original bearings because, to be honest, they were absolutely perfect. Now, before I go any further, let's get some grease up inside your head. Although this is really just for, because obviously we've got sealed bearings, so this is probably more for rust control than, there's no ball spinning around inside. Right, let's hopefully we've got everything that we need. Is this the wedge? Oh, there we go. Forgot about that. This one I always forget about. And of course now I've just realised, actually just thinking, I seem to have too many spacers, I think. Have I got too many spacers? Where's the bars? These were the original ones. That does have us up. There's quite a gap there. We don't need as many spacers. I wonder if maybe just had too many on, because you shouldn't have much of a, there shouldn't be much of a gap. What's it? Ah, now see, that is almost at the top. Just going to put a little bit of grease in there for rust. I think we're going to actually have to put that one in there. I don't think we've got the clearance. I think we're going to end up where we just bottom out just. So I think if I had a smaller one, but I don't. So I think we're going to have to put that in there. It will give us a bit of height as well, which is no bad thing on these bikes, these older bikes. Be honest, these Manitou forks are just weird how they've, oop, a bit too tight. There we go. Just how they have the bridge at the back, I just find that so strange. I have to say I'm not really a fan of it. I'm just gonna give this a wee nick up. We're obviously gonna do this properly. Get it all aligned. Right, we can start moving into the drivetrain now. Derailleur on here. I've got the crank set just baking in the sun because I've just put a fresh coat of matte black paint and satin varnish onto it because they were all a bit worn out and it just spoilt it. It's one of my things I always look at is the cranks. Look at wear and tear. So I'm just going to check on those, and if they're dry we can get them on next. The cranks are now dry, so we're going to get those on. Just going to put a little bit of grease to insulate, a bit of weatherproofing. Right, got all the cranks redone. Nice satin black there just to set that off. On that side, I'll go on that side. Let's just fall off before I get it tightened. Right, I remember now to get this off, of course I had to use the big guns. Just going to take that off now just to get this loaded on. The other side was going to fall. I don't want to take that off before, and I've just dropped my ratchet and dropped it on the wheels. Come on, there we go. Go in the right direction. Some tension there. There we go. There we go. Alright, let's do the other side. Alright, I'm just going to give the brakes a wee, take the pads out, because I'm going to be changing the pads anyway. Just give them a sort of general service down. I mean, the pads are probably going to be okay. Yeah, actually no. Well, they're actually okay, but they're going to need changing soon, so may as well get them done now. Can't get that bend on that pin. Yeah, as I say, there's definitely meat, but I've got plenty spare pads anyway, so we may as well get a nice fresh set in, because we've done the brake discs. So if we've done the brake discs, sanded them, it's a good idea to let a fresh set of pads bed in. Yeah, they're actually reasonable as well, but again, we'll get them changed. I'm sure I have got some, because I've just said that, probably famous last words. These dual piston 4-piston, no, right, so they're 4-piston brake pads, so they'll not fit. Right, I think my favourite butt cloth ones will do. Yep, I'm just going to check the piston movement. Make sure we're alright. Even movement. Yep, not a problem. Right, let's get these cleaned down and do that. I've just used a bit of GT85 so it coats all the parts as well. This will bring a sort of nice black luster back to the brake pads as well, which is just cosmetically good. And any parts, like there was a little bit of corrosion on that, it'll deal with that as well. Now unfortunately I still don't have my little, I'm going to just do the same thing here, just give it an overall wee lube and just rub in some of that GT85. Push those pads back in, otherwise I might struggle to get the new pads in. Oh, it's a good idea to start with that rather than trying to fight it while it's in the bike. This is just a trim removal tool. Right, that is then pretty much ready. The nuts that hold all the brakes and that on are a little bit corroded, so I'm going to get them on the wire brush. Right, let's get, so we need rear brake first. There we go. In fact, what we'll do mount the front, no, in fact, actually, we'll just do that and then we can run that down to the back. So we'll have to, because I meant to take it off of the frame rather than from here, which means we'll need to realign all the brakes, etc. I mean, it's not a biggie, but it's just something we'll need to remember to do. And of course, put fresh pads into it as well. I don't think we're going to need to bleed it though. I think that part is all okay. Right, front brake. Whoop, oh, just an old bracket. And there, obviously I'm not going to tighten these on because we need to have pads sorted out, and we also have to have, in fact, I've just realised, I think I meant to put the shifters on first. Yes, I did. I have managed to forget to put the shifters on. So we'll put them on now. So I slattened all this off, but apparently not. I did slatten off. There we go. Right, let's have a look here. So, yep, that's all going to go in quad NAS here. Right, I'll get this just while we're here. I will slide this one on as well, so we're not getting it all wrong. Try it again. There we go. Where are we? Oh, here we are. Brake lever. It's going to go that way. There we go. Nice and neat. We'll get them all tightened up later. Right, now slinging our way around to the front, but we need to remember that this cable needs to come to the inside of the leg. It doesn't go to the outside. Done that many a time and then have to take everything back off again. One thing I do find a bit odd, and I found it often with the Specialized, in fact it was on that last rock hopper I did, normally there's like cups underneath the brakes, so when you bolt them up you can actually twist them that way as well, and these just don't seem to have it, which typically makes it a little bit of a hassle to get the disc to stop rubbing. Not much we can do about it, but it's just, yeah, something that's just been a bit of a pain. So again, I'm going to just do these up, nick them up, back them off, because these will obviously all need to, once the pads are in, will all need to get realigned. But that's that done. Now, of course, I should have made a mark on the frame where the derailleur sat, although I might still be able to see something, but I'm sure we'll get it all figured out. Sorry if my arm is in the way, I will move it. Right, I think that's possibly a bit better. Right, now I need to go down a wee bit, yeah, because there was a sticker there and that wasn't covered. Yeah, we want to just come out just above a couple of mil. Now obviously we want to make sure it's in line. If you're looking down, chain ring and guide should be pretty much level. Let's pull out again. Yeah, so we want about a couple of mil, 2.5 mil to the top of the chain ring. thereabouts. Don't think there's a science. Well, there probably is a science to it. Right, let's get that one married up. It's going to drop some oil down the guide because it will be pulled in quite tight. Easier said than done. There we go. Bump my chin. Yeah, that does come around that side. Yeah, so as I say, this is a little bit more modern routing. Certainly just all a bit extra. Right. It's just popping out the side. I should be able just to hook it in under the screw then. Ah, there we go. We won't be tightening it. I'll tell you what, this XD stuff is nice, I have to say. There we go. Right, much smoother. I think that was a definite had to be done. I just saw that giving us some problems later on. Right, this is just a little bit weird. Isn't there? That's just a much tougher mount than normal. I have to use my screwdriver. Let's get this pushed in. There we go. Starting to come together. There we go. That's a bit long, that, but I mean, it's the original one that was on it, so, you know, unless it's been changed at some point, but I'm sure it was still the original Shimano stuff. So I've got a little bit of problem with the rear shock. Obviously it goes in there, and I don't know if you remember from my initial video, there was a bit of play here. Now the guy gave me this, said that's the piece that was worn, which is the sleeve that goes in there, but it is not. That piece is actually fine. The wear is actually this piece, which I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little ridge there. So there's a little bit of play in. Not much, but a little bit. But for the life of me, I've not been able to find this part yet. So I think just to kind of move things forward, I'm going to put the shock back on with this, just so I can get it riding while I search for the other part. Unfortunately, I don't want to do it. It annoys me. But with this fork, well, the shock, sorry, being so old, it's just, oh, I'm struggling. And I don't think this is actually a shock part. I think this is actually it's the what do you call it? It's a part for the bike instead. So that is making it somewhat awkward to find. Right. But we'll just have to see. As I say, I have been on the internet, I have been searching, but I've not been really having any luck. What I'm thinking I might do actually, which I haven't done yet, I think I might have that going in from the wrong side. What I think I might do is actually reach out to there's a Facebook group for specialised vintage and retro mountain bikes. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to them and maybe ask them what would be the best way of going around trying to locate it. I can't be the only person that's decided to do this, but on the other hand, there can't be many places keeping stock of 2005 parts. It's a bit of a shame. Because clearly the original owner has obviously gone to the bother tracking down that part, not realising actually that was not the part to track down. Anyways, come on. Is that biting in or not? That's it now. Right, now we've got these ones. Put a little bit of lube on here because it's going to be going through there. So it doesn't take much to stop this happening, but it's not happened. Oh, jeez. Right, let's just put those there now. God, I'm just covered in oil and grease. Oh, why is this now so tight? Somebody driving past. Oh, there we go. Well, there's no arguing that this is a nice snug fit. So guys, if you're still on board watching the video, like and subscribe. I have to say, lately, obviously after the big bike build off, things have really quietened down. I'm definitely not getting the views. I'm kind of back to pre-bike build off views. You know, well, maybe slightly better, but not by much, to be honest. We're kind of down to just over 100 views on a video before it kind of tails right off, which is not really good for the amount of time and effort. That's weird. I don't know whether I've just because I've moved it around and disturbed it, but that's actually gone quite tight, which is slightly hilarious. Right, we are starting to get quite bike-like with the forks, the shocks back on. I didn't rebuild the shock, by the way. I gave it a clean. After servicing the front, I found that I thought, you know, maybe the back just doesn't need it, and I'm hoping it doesn't, because again, I think getting parts for it will just be an utter nightmare. So I'm going to see how it feels and see how we go from there. Right, I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm struggling to go much further because I don't have my tyres yet. Right, right, grip type. These are actually giant grips. They've obviously come off another bike, but they're actually really nice grips. But the only ones I've really got that are vaguely okay just now. But if I PA for this, I will need to use bar end caps on these because they don't have anything at the end. Let's move all this in. Oh, kind of popped out the end there. As you see, it's just totally open, and they don't have, I mean, they're probably not grips in fitting with the bike, but I think they're going to be fine. They look quite comfy. Right, let's just start to nick up some of these positions, not fully because I want to be on the bike when I do it, but just to stop them pivoting around, also so I can adjust them without the whole thing rotating round. There we go. Right, same again. It's pretty much just shy of the end. Roughly about there. There we go. Right, the chain was in remarkable condition, so again I'm going to put this back on, save some money, because you're looking at least, even for the cheapest chain, like £10 now. So, and I think, I don't know what kind of chain it is, but the fact is everything else has been good quality. I assume this is too. Well, this should all be the correct size, for sure. But once we get the wheel on the back, we will know. Oops. Oop. So we're really just hooking this on just now. Get on there. There we go. Always going to need pedals on a bike, so we will do those next. Oop, doesn't sound too healthy. Hopefully my tyres will come soon. Sure I've got the right ones on. Yep. Oh, there we go. Right, now the cassette's all clean, etc., we can get all this part back together. I've just overdone that. Definitely did not need that much. Ooh. Dear, that's definitely not going to stick on, that's for sure. Right, let's just get round to, there we go, one thin one at the top, and then that way we can marry these ones in nicely. There we go. Same again. Say maybe one will come back, revisit this as a one by. I did actually try a Shimano 10-speed cassette on here and it went on no bother at all, so that would probably be what we would be looking at. I think that would give us enough. I mean, to be honest, the 9 would probably give us enough as a one by, but you know what, we'll do a 10. So we've jumped forward a bit, and the reason is that now the bike looks like suddenly it's finished, and maybe not quite as I said I was going to do it, is the reason is when I was rebuilding the bike, I just had a few niggly feelings that I know that could be a bit of an issue. One was the collar from the rear shock, and the other one was actually the rear shock itself. So I thought before I spent any money on this, I better make sure that the bike actually all works properly, because with full suspension bikes, when things go wrong, they go wrong expensive. So what I did was, obviously I just put a spare set of tyres that I had on the bike, and I've used it for a few days. The problem is with the rear collar here is the part the guy gave me is not the part I need. I need a bush that goes through the suspension, and being such an old bike, this could be a problem getting it. I've not managed, because it's really hard to actually search for old stuff because you don't know what it's called. So I've got that problem, but the other problem as well is there's no rebound, there's no dampening on the back shock at all. That's the reason why I thought I'll put normal tyres on it before I buy new ones, to make sure that everything was okay before I moved the investment on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this video done. However, what I will do is I'll revisit it if I do decide to rebuild. If I get the bits to do the rear shock and it's successful and I manage to get somebody to make me a real collar, then I will start doing a little bit more. I'll put the tyres on that I wanted. Because apart from that, I think we put a chain on it and I put new brake pads on it. But I think that's actually all I actually did. And the weird thing is full suspension, old full suspension bikes, when you sell them used, do not actually do that well. So I'm going to leave this video here. And as usual, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.